Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all enjoying this perfect sunny day. Today on the Get to Know Her show, I am so excited to introduce you to Kim MacDonald. She is a national host for the Weather Network. She's been with them for 20 years. She's absolutely amazing, and she has so much to share with us today. In December of 2016, Kim was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she turned her diagnosis around and made it a way to help others, to spread joy. She's done incredible things. So I'm going to bring her on right away. Better that you hear it right from her. Here she is, Kim MacDonald. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Monica.
How you doing?
I'm great. What a beautiful
Good.
day.
I know, it's a gorgeous day. You must have had something to do with that.
I did. I have total control over the weather. Only when it's nice. When it's really bad, it's not me. It's Mother Nature. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll take credit when I can, because a lot of people complain when it's not nice. So when it is, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
That's great. Yeah, for sure. You know what we actually put up on the Facebook page. I asked if anyone had questions for you today, and you did get a very interesting question, weather related. Did you see that question?
The weather, the question about the wind? Was that the one? I did see that. That was, somebody wanted to know all about wind and how it happens, which is, pretty in-depth question.
Yeah.
I can answer it, but I don't know how many people are super, interested in the wind, but.
Sure, we could kick off with your answer on the wind.
The wind explanation?
Sure. Yeah, the wind explanation.
Sure. When you have a windy day, it usually means that something is about to change, that the atmosphere is changing. So we talk about high pressure and low pressure a lot on the Weather Network when we talk about atmosphere. And just imagine high pressure like a brick. So in Ontario, for example, we're under high pressure. It's beautiful. No rain is getting in, no clouds are getting in. It is solid. But when you have low pressure, it's more like a sponge. So it has all these little holes in it. It's light, it's low pressure. So Mother Nature doesn't want you to have high pressure for too long or low pressure for too long. So when it changes, whoosh, in comes the wind, and there's a low pressure system coming, and suddenly you've got rain or thunderstorms in the summer, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's usually a big change between high pressure and low pressure when we have wind.
That's great. So that was very interesting. And what a treat for Tom, who asked the question. Hopefully he listened.
I hope he listened too. It's funny because wind is, wind can be disastrous. It can be cold in the winter. We can have wind chill. And in the summer, sometimes it can be a savior because it cools us down when it's super hot.
That's right. You know what my favorite wind is? The side wind when it's raining.
Oh, yeah.
In November, the cold rain.
The cold side wind right in your face. Yeah. That's beautiful. Love it.
That's
Love
right.
it for the hair.
Yeah, it's so good for the hair. So Kim, you've been with the Weather Network for 20 years.
22 now.
22 now. Oh my gosh.
I started in the 90s.
All right. Nothing wrong with the 90s. I have to actually say, I'm glad you brought that up, because I love on your Instagram page that you say that you survived breast cancer and the 80s.
Yeah, I've got photos from the 80s, not many because we didn't have, cell phones and such. Yeah. So, Monica, I could probably loop you in with this, but our past is our past, thankfully. We got away with it. We got away with it, my dear.
We totally did. We definitely got away with it. So when you were a kid growing up, were you fascinated by weather, or did you have other things on your mind? Like, how did you get to this place where
I'm in the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about weather and being Canadian is that I think everybody's into it in some way or another, right? Who didn't love a snow day as a kid? Summers seemed like they lasted forever when I was a kid. But I think I just had a love for broadcasting eventually. I think I wanted to be a teacher or the prime minister when I was a child. So I'm neither of those. Although I'm a bit of a teacher, I think, when it comes to the weather. So I can say that. And occasionally I can be political. So, I wanted to get into broadcasting. I loved public speaking as a kid. And
you did.
I did. I know. I don't know why.
That's great.
One of those few kids. And I used to always enter something called the Kiwanis Speech Festival as a child. And starting probably grade 5, I started to go up on stage and recite a poem. Not my own, and there would be like 10 kids and we'd all recite the same poem. And then the person who did it the best would win the gold kind of thing. And it turned out I was really good at it. And I wasn't an athletic kid by any stretch. I wasn't good at a lot of stuff like that. I wouldn't have been on any teams other than cross country because I couldn't really spaz out. But I was really good at speech arts. That's what it's called, the Speech Arts Festival in St. Catharines. And I've been in every year. And every year I won first place. So it was exciting that I found something as a kid that I was good at. And that was it.
Oh, you must have been good at memorizing.
I was.
Yeah.
I can no longer memorize anything, Monica, but at the time I had a very good memory as a child. So yes. And we would do poetry, and then there was some drama as well, where you would act out a particular scene from a play and get critiqued. There would be an adjudicator and they would critique you. And so that wasn't, I did.
Good for you. That's so brave, because when I see you up there with the weather, I mean, I know there's green screen there, and I just think, how can she do all that? Like, not knowing what's actually there. But I guess, I mean, you're trained in that, but to me, it looks like such a nerve-wracking job.
Well, whenever anybody comes in, like I'm now with, a big monitor in the newsroom area. So I don't have the green screen, although we certainly do have a green screen. A lot of people work in front of it, and I have too for years. And it does become second nature, but it is a learning curve, to be sure. And whenever anybody comes in to tour the Weather Network, we let them try the green screen. And anybody can tell you it is not easy, because you're looking at yourself opposite in a monitor, right? And now you have to point at Gillam, Manitoba. So good luck, right? Yeah,
good luck. Exactly. I know. Me too. I'm like, are my flowers on this side, or even on this thing? There's the flowers. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't make me point.
Too
I don't
confusing.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I've always seen myself in reverse for years.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So how is it now at work, Kim, like with COVID and everything? Have there been a lot of changes for you? Are you still go?
I still go in.
You do? Okay.
90% of my company is working from home. So there's nobody there. Now I work nights. I'm on the evening show, and it goes right through into the overnight hours. So there always was, just fewer staff on when I worked anyway. I mean, we had at nighttime, it was a pretty quiet time to be working, and I really loved it. But during the day, it is busy. We have hundreds of staff, people working on, the web and data and digital and all kinds of stuff going on. We have apps. Of course, everybody knows the Weather Network app. So it's a big company, sales, et cetera. So all of those people are working from home. And we just have a handful of people who come in, like my director, a briefing meteorologist, forecasting meteorologist, and myself. It's very quiet.
Wow.
It's a lot different than it was.
Yeah. So you had a lot more people even on the evening shift before all of this.
Yeah, our writers would come in. Yeah. We had our editor come in. Now our writers can work from home, and our editor works from home. So yeah, there's even less on my shift.
Wow. So the physical distancing for you is good then. It's not a big concern. You can manage that at work. Okay.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And we have cleaners coming in, sanitizing all the time. And we have hand sanitizer everywhere you turn. It's right there. We've had the wipes, like the Lysol wipes and all that kind of stuff. So we're well taken care of there. They're very, very careful.
Good. So Kim, you and I met, I'm trying to think now. So it's so funny. I wanted to share with everyone. I had reached out to you about doing an interview, and you shared with me, isn't this funny? Look what just popped up in my memories. And that would have been 2017, I think, was it?
Yeah,
When
yeah,
we met at one of the Bright Run launch parties.
that's right.
And so that would have been, were you in treatment then? Because you were
Mhm.
diagnosed in 2016, right? And you had that
Yeah,
gorgeous pink wig on
I did.
and all
I
the
was
jewels.
bald. Yes,
Yeah.
I was in between. Um, it was after my surgery because I think it
Okay.
was June. So it was about a month
Yeah.
after my surgery. I had finished chemo and I had not started radiation yet. So I
Wow.
began radiation at the beginning of July, and I kind of met you in that little sweet spot
Yeah.
between surgery and radiation when I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's incredible. And so what got you connected with the Bright Run?
Well, I was connected with the Bright Run because I was
Yeah.
treated at Juravinski, and
Okay.
Kathy Ward was my
Wow.
oncology nurse. And of course, Kathy Ward has such a big role in the Bright Run. She was one of the founding members of it, and she
Yeah.
was just I'm saying she was because she's retired, but
Yeah.
she was an incredible oncology nurse, and we became very close. And because I wrote a blog and was very public about
Mhm.
my cancer diagnosis, they asked me if I would be interested in maybe hosting the kickoff.
Right.
And I went on the local cable station here in Hamilton to talk about the Bright Run as well while I was still in active treatment. So it was interesting
Wow.
that I was doing the
Fantastic.
I'm,
Yeah. And really, I wanted to say that,
great.
yeah, like your bravery during that time, here you are going through
Oh,
all of
sounds
this.
like Siri wants to
Oh,
speak to me. Sorry,
oh,
Siri, I don't need to speak
Siri's trying to interrupt or crash
to
our
you.
party.
Oh my, this is my
Oh,
husband's computer. I apologize for that.
oh, that's okay. That's okay. So I was going to say, your bravery during all of this. I mean, you had this diagnosis. Here you are, a person who's in the public eye all the time. And instead of sort of, going through what you had to go through on your own, you really took it, you decided, I want to share this. I want to help other women. Your blog during your time was so generous that, you wrote all your thoughts about it and how you're feeling, and then your participation with the Juravinski Cancer Center, and then being live with it in the public eye. Incredible. So what was sort of going through your mind during all of this? What was it, just like a burning desire, like I need to do this, or
No, it
how did it?
wasn't because it didn't start that way. I think, well,
Yeah.
first of all, I felt like I couldn't just walk away from being on air and disappear and not say anything because I've always felt a connection with my audience, and they are very generous with me online and very kind. I am not one of the broadcasters who gets a lot of criticism, which is nice. People are very kind to me,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to just want to walk away. So I publicly announced that I had breast cancer and that I was going to step away from the camera for a while and go beat this thing. And the response that I got was overwhelming. But to write the blog was more, I just wanted to do something while I didn't feel like I should just be home battling cancer. I don't know why. I felt like I
Yeah.
needed a job at the same time for some reason. So, and I
Yeah.
mostly just wanted to record what I was going through just to have it. It wasn't,
Hmm.
it was more for me at the beginning, more like a public diary, which is kind of like what a blog is. But I just wanted to document what I was going through because I didn't know what it was going to be like, and thought, well, okay, maybe other people might be interested in what it's all about. But what I didn't realize, I mean, I got so much love and support from strangers and obviously friends and family, and people really responded to it. That was one thing that was great. But what I didn't realize was that by writing this, that I was going to be helping other people. I didn't
Mm.
know that until I started to get responses from women who are also going through treatment or who were just about to go through treatment, and
Yeah.
how how I was helping them. And that was when I realized, okay, that's why I have this. That's what this is for. I found some kind of a purpose in it, So, yeah, that was how it started, and the response was really great. And I don't know, I almost want to cry now when I think about the wonderful response that I got from the blog.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think that's so wonderful. And you're exactly right. It's, these hard times that we go through in our lives. And I have no idea what it would be like to go through what you went through, but to take it and turn it into something that can help other people, it's just, we need more of that in the world, because I think a lot of people feel alone. And
I think the more honest people are, the better it is too, because people often think, oh, it's just me. Everybody else is having a wonderful life. When you look at social media, everybody's life is perfect, right? But as soon as somebody is vulnerable and tells the truth and says, you know what, it's hard, I'm having a tough day or whatever it is, people respond to that more because they go, okay, this makes sense to me. We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of putting out the good stuff because, like, I've always thought, I never want to put out that I'm tired or sick on Facebook. That was my rule from day one. And all of a sudden it's like, I have cancer. I guess I should rethink what I'm going to say here. Yeah. I always tried to, kind of put a positive spin on it, because I think I don't want to bring other people down. It's not so much about, I'm having such an easy time. I think it was, I don't want anybody to worry too much.
Right. But it's got the opposite effect, where it's like, you're not afraid to say, hey, this is tough. I'm going through this. Yeah. So you really become a leader. You're like a Wonder Woman. Like, people are like, okay, Kim feels like this. I feel like this. It's okay. We're going to get through it. Like, it's really building community.
Yeah, I think it really did. And you know what? It started when I shaved my head live on Facebook. I didn't
tell us about that.
That was a big deal. So my girlfriend Andrea she's a very close friend of mine. She's my hairstylist, and she said it's best if you cut your hair first before it falls out. And she said, because you don't want your hair falling out in chunks and long hair. Like, I had very long hair. So she cut it first, and then she cut it again. And then she was going to shave it. And I thought, maybe I'll do this live so that people can see what it's like. And because for me, that's all part of my, journalism broadcasting way, is like, let's show other people what it might be like. So she agreed to do it. And I said, listen, my husband came, he was going to shoot it. My daughter came, my younger daughter. And I said, this is like I could change my mind at the last minute, because I don't know how I'm going to be emotionally. Yeah. But I didn't. I said, okay, let's do this. And we did. And she did a beautiful job. And I spoke through the whole thing, talking about my cancer diagnosis, what I was expecting to go through in the near future, and about wig shopping and anything that I knew at that point, which was very little. But, and that's when I got my first responses from, a woman said, I watched this with my children, and because I have to lose my hair, I have to shave my head, and watching you is, gave my kids a sense of comfort that it was going to be okay. And I started to get messages like, I've already been through cancer once and I have to do it again. And I was really dreading the hair loss again. And she said, but now after I did mine on New Year's Eve, and she said, after watching you, my daughter's going to shave my head on New Year's Day, and I'm ready for it. And that kind of reaction was just mind blowing. And in the end, I had about 100,000 views on this Facebook Live. And, I'd never seen anything like it. Wow. And so obviously, I guess a lot of people were interested in seeing what that was like to get your head shaved.
Wow. That's great. 100,000 views.
By the way, if anybody wants to see.
Okay. Yeah. Have to check that out.
My hair's grown back since then, thankfully.
Yeah. You got real hair. Yeah. So Kim, you were saying too that the cancer, when we had talked before the interview, that the whole experience actually prepared you for this pandemic as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a weird thing, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of similarities. First of all, I had a big bottle of sanitizer at my front door, hand sanitizer, so that if anybody came in, they would have to use it,
Mhm.
because you have really no immunity when you're going through chemo. I mean, I had
Okay.
shots that would help boost my white blood cell count. But, I had to put on Facebook, if you have a cold or if you feel like you might be coming down with the flu, please don't come over because that could make me very sick. And
Mhm.
so I was already fragile in that way. There's a lot of loneliness. You don't go out very often.
Mhm.
I mean, I managed to make it out sometimes, but sometimes I would go, a week without stepping outside, and because I didn't feel well, and I was tired, that kind of thing. So I was indoors a lot. I wasn't going out. I was not going out into crowds because I was worried. You have a real sense of your mortality. You start
Mhm.
thinking about that more. And I think people who, when the pandemic first became a thing and people were dying, and I think a lot of people thought about their mortality,
Yeah.
like what if I got this? So yeah, there was a lot of hand washing and staying inside, and yeah, a lot of thinking. So, plus I didn't go to the hair salon because I had no hair.
Right.
My nails were a total wreck because of chemo, and they were falling off. I know that sounds terrible, but
Yeah.
yes, I haven't had my nails done since the pandemic, or my hair either. So there you go. Those are the more super
Yeah.
side effects. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's I feel like I've almost been through this before.
Jeez. So when you were going through those thoughts, like it's actually what you're saying about mortality. That's something that most of us are blessed with not really thinking about until, I guess, it starts to cross our minds more when we lose a parent or a friend would pass away, something like that.
Someone,
But
right.
yeah, but for what you went through, you were so young to be even thinking about that, right? And now you're right, with
Yeah.
COVID, people are like, oh my God, there's people in their 30s, 40s, 50s who have died. This could be me. Like, you do think about it more.
Yeah.
So, in that, work through that. Um, oh,
Sorry, you got a little
sorry, our
frozen
good
there.
old internet. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
how did you work through that? Did you seek help? Did you get some counseling for those dark thoughts you were having, or did you manage it in other ways? How did you kind of, because I can
Um,
imagine that would be really hard. I'm even imagining you like feeling well enough to visit with a couple of girlfriends, and then it's like you can't even focus because all that's on your mind is how,
yeah.
it's
Well,
heavy.
I
Yeah.
worried about it at the very beginning, for sure, when I was first diagnosed, and when I knew I had breast cancer before I was diagnosed. I just knew I had it. So
Hmm.
and everything went through my mind, and I was on the internet all the time. How much time do I have? Right. If I'm
Right.
stage 1 or 2 or 3, and, but once I had a plan, once I knew that I was going through, 4 months of chemo, that I was going to do radiation, that I was going to have a double mastectomy, I just looked ahead rather
Oh,
than
great.
back. And so I just thought, okay, I have a plan. I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to come out the other side, and I'm going to be okay. So I convinced myself of that very early on. Once I was actually doing something, it's not doing something that makes
Hmm.
you more worried. So if I have a message for anybody, if you feel like there's something wrong, please don't be afraid to go to the doctor, because the sooner the better. And the sooner you have a plan and are in treatment, the sooner you're through it and you're on the other side of healing. So
Yeah,
that's what
that's
you need to
great
do. I know a lot of
advice.
people are afraid to go because they
Yeah.
think there's something wrong, right? But
Right.
once
Yeah.
once I knew, I was like, okay, focus. I have a mountain to climb, and I'm gonna climb it. That's what I felt like. I felt like
Yeah.
there was a mountain in front of me. I knew that I was going to go through this year that was going to be very difficult,
Hmm.
and I had no choice but to do it. I had no choice. I couldn't go around the mountain. I couldn't go through it. I had to climb it, and
Yeah.
eventually I was on the other side.
Wow, that's such great advice, and I love the word treatment. I actually have a friend who went through breast cancer, and she had a rule in her house: no one was allowed to say chemotherapy; they had to call it treatment. And that was something for her mentally that really helped her, because she said when she heard that word treatment, all she thought about was healing. She didn't think about the other.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
it's
all
those.
treatment. Like I think of it's the trifecta of treatment, the surgery,
Yeah.
the radiation, and the chemotherapy. But yes, treatment does always sound much better. It's funny. I did a radio show every week during my whole journey with cancer, and
Okay.
on a radio station in St. Catharines. They had a sister station in London, so I was on a talk show with Tom MacDonald every week, and it was called Kim Has Cancer. And so I would basically talk
Wow.
like this on the radio every week about what it was like, and just the day to day. And people had questions, and I would answer them
Oh,
as honestly as I could. So,
yeah.
yeah, I was telling my story, and I would talk about infusions, and he used to say, "It sounds like you're at a spa with your infusions." Like, okay, sure.
Okay, yeah. Wow. So speaking of mountains and doing things that are uh,
Crazy.
very crazy and daring,
Mm-hmm.
so in 2019, you said to yourself, okay, I've got some things I want to do. I got some things I want to prove to myself. And you went for
Yes,
it.
I
So
did.
you went to South America.
I got involved with
Yeah.
a really great new foundation called I Rise Above. And the founder um, lives with metastatic breast cancer. So her breast cancer came back, but she's doing really well. And
Mhm.
she started a foundation which was basically to help women rise above their diagnosis, so to get beyond it, and to do something really challenging. It's like, do the thing that you think you cannot do. And a group of us, American and Canadian, went to Patagonia. Actually, the whole I Rise was 6 months, so we had weekly sessions, discussions, and homework. And then we went to Costa Rica and had this beautiful meditation, yoga kind of retreat where, I mean, it was so healing for me, because sometimes the worst of what happens with breast cancer happens after the fact in your mind, because then
Mhm.
you have to ruminate, right? You're not
Right.
focused on anything anymore, and so it kind of hits you after the fact. And that's what I was really struggling with. I thought I did well through the treatment. I thought, okay, I'm healed, but there's a lot of PTSD that goes with cancer.
Yeah.
And so this I Rise Above really helped me. So we went to Costa Rica, and then a few months later, we did the the expedition through Patagonia, and we did what's called the W Trek, and it's a very famous hike. I believe it's 5 days, and none of it is flat. And I'm telling you, it is the hardest and best thing that I could have done for
Wow.
myself. And it's something that I did not know I was physically capable of, especially after going through treatment.
Yeah.
And I did it. I suffered for it, but
Wow.
mentally, I felt like I can do anything. I can.
Oh,
I proved to myself that my body can do this now after breast cancer, and it was just incredible. And so I Rise will take you to, they want to do Mount Kilimanjaro, Base Camp Everest, these kinds of things. I did Patagonia, which was good for me. I don't need another mountain. It's not like, oh, now I'm going to climb mountains. I'm not that person, but I'm really proud that all of us, the women who were involved in this, we all went through breast cancer, and then we all did this really amazing, positive,
wow.
tough thing. And I highly recommend challenging yourself post cancer to do something incredible. Make a plan and do it. And
Oh,
yeah,
and I
it's
love
great.
what you said about like realizing what your body was actually capable of, because I'm sure, this is absolutely no comparison, but even going from winter to spring, like by the end of the winter, I start feeling like, am I 50 or am I 75? Like, and
Same.
really out of shape 75. And then as soon as the spring comes now, I mean, I was rollerblading last night. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. Like there's no difference to when I was, and it's such a good feeling to go back to know that you haven't lost anything or so,
Yes,
you
and we should
know.
be very grateful to our bodies for what they, women are so hard on ourselves, right? And myself
Mhm.
included, about how we look, our little bit of fat, or whatever it is. And I should be thank you for healing through cancer. Thank you for taking me on these incredible journeys. Thank you for, giving me all you have given. And that's what we should be saying to our bodies, that, if we can walk and run and climb and hike or do anything like that, it's just a great big thanks.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when you did this trip, was it with other women you knew that you had
we,
sort of met along your,
yes,
yeah?
we were
Okay.
all invited to do the journey
Okay.
through I Rise Above. So we were all like we were the first crew of women to do it, and so we had all been through breast cancer, all different ages. Mostly it's for young women. I was the eldest of us all. They were all around 40, and
Okay.
had breast cancer in their 30s. So these are young women, and
Mhm.
we just met through the foundation, and then we became very close because we had experienced this amazing
Oh,
thing together. We went to Chile. We did the W trek to the Torres del Paine. They're called the Torres del Paine National Park is where we hiked. And then we went over to Argentina and we hiked up to Mount Fitzroy, which was beautiful. And it was about a 21K hike in one day, but the views were spectacular. And I mean, we went kayaking amongst glaciers, and it was just
wow.
unbelievable. And the year before, I had gone to New Zealand to visit my daughter, and I haven't even been to Europe, Monica, if I'm being perfectly honest. And
Wow.
so now I've been to New Zealand and to the very bottom of South America,
Oh,
and it was just. I needed to do it. Once you face
yeah.
cancer, you're like, I don't want to put things off anymore. If somebody asks me to do something really cool, I want to say
Yeah.
yes, because I don't know how much time I have. We all don't know, but it
Yeah.
really puts it in your face that, you know what? Don't wait forever. Don't wait until you're retired. Just do it. And
Mhm.
so I'm happy that this is a weird thing to say. The pandemic happened this year because I had no big plans, and I'm glad that I did those things
Yeah.
that were so lovely and incredible. New Zealand is such a beautiful place too.
Oh, that's great. Do you find, Kim, during this pandemic now, because I know you're still working and you're doing your thing, but
Yeah.
I think we all feel this slow down kind of like, woo, we're not moving as quickly as we used to. And I don't know about you, but when I think of things like travel and all the places I've been to and different experience, like I'm really indulging in that now. I'm getting my photo albums out. I'm really like appreciating the life that I have created for myself. Whereas before, it was always kind of background, like, oh yeah, that was great. And if somebody asked me, I'd tell them a story. But for me,
What's
myself,
next?
just sitting, yeah, exactly. What's next? That's right. But
Mhm.
for me, just to sit quietly and really appreciate everything I've done, that's been the gift since the pandemic for me, for sure. And
Yes.
I'm sure with you too. Like you've made some beautiful memories there.
I know
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting between, I mean, obviously I really had to slow down when I was diagnosed, and that
Yes.
really put the brakes on my life for a while. And then I just, got right back to it. And I had a lot of reflecting time then. And
Yeah.
yes, and now I'm reflecting once more, and I'm just really happy I've done what I have done in between breast cancer and now. And
Hmm.
it's only been a couple of years. It's been 3 years actually since I
Yeah.
was May 18th was when they told me that I was cancer free, but I still had a lot of treatment left. I still had all my radiation, and I had something called Herceptin infusions for
Okay.
several more months before I was actually finished. But
Yeah.
yes, and if I mean, maybe you're not facing any kind of illness or worried about mortality, but
Hmm.
I just think that people should do what they've been planning to do. Just if you
Yeah.
have something that you've always wanted to do, just just do it, because you never know. You never know when something like is going to happen, like a pandemic or breast cancer.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I know I would rather live in a smaller house and have money to travel than have a whole bunch of stuff and, be stuck in one place. It's just, yeah, traveling
Yeah.
is so great.
I know, I've really got the bug now.
Yeah, so what's next for you? Do you have another place you want
Oh,
to
I
see or?
do. There's a lot of places. I've always wanted to go to Ireland, so I really want to do
Yeah.
that sooner than later. That's a big one for me.
Yeah.
And I hear that Morocco is an amazing place to visit. So
Yeah.
I've been getting a few recommendations to check that place out too. So yeah, I'd like to
Oh,
try some.
that's great. I was actually in Morocco 30 years ago at this time, believe it or not. I
Wow.
Yeah, I my
When
best
you were
friend and I
two?
when I was 2, yeah. I already had a job. Yeah, my best friend and we backpacked through Europe together. So she was 19 and I was 20, and we
Nice.
did England, France, Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Italy, and Greece. What a great trip. Like, oh my God. And Morocco, so beautiful. I don't drink coffee anymore, but they had the best coffee I've ever tasted in my life in
That's
Morocco. You
reason
just
enough
sit
for
on those.
me.
What's that? That's reason
Is it
enough for
that?
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something they have this like really nice milk. It's probably got like 15% fat but who cares? You can hike it off.
That's right. Always can hike
Yeah.
it off. I
Yeah.
see. I
Yeah.
didn't travel after high school. Or after university, I went straight into work. I started working at a radio station, and that's what I thought I had to do, kind of thing, you know. And I
Yeah.
loved my job. I loved working in radio, and then 5 years later, I started working at the Weather Network. So for me, it was
Wow.
always my career at the beginning. Whereas my
Yeah.
daughter, who's finished school, she's been traveling all over the place. She's lived in New Zealand, and she just traveled across the U.S. and just lived in British Columbia for a couple of months. And so she's doing it now when she's young.
Right.
But I'm thinking, yeah, there is really something to that when you're young and fit and
Yeah, and
have lots
and
of energy.
that's right. And you know what is great too? I think it really teaches a lesson about independence. Like you realize that you don't need a lot to be happy. That's
Yeah.
what I took away from it. I came home thinking, I don't need grandiose things. I just want to have experiences and I'm okay living out of a bag on my back. I couldn't say that right now, but
Yeah, at the
yeah.
time, yeah, she's the same way. She's the same way. It's
Yeah. How old is she?
it's all about the adventure.
For
She
sure.
will be 24 next month.
Oh, great. And does she do like a whole Instagram page, Kim, where she shows people her travels and that kind of thing? Or she's
Not
just
enough.
doing it for her own?
She has an. I told her to do an Instagram page for her dog. I know this is funny.
Oh,
She got a puppy last year, and the dog has
yeah.
been traveling with her and her boyfriend across the United States. And so, if you go to the Instagram Balto's Travels, you will see
Yeah.
Balto in all kinds of fun places. Arizona, Las Vegas,
Wow.
Lake Louise, and it's great. He's always got these really great backgrounds behind him. They traveled across Canada, and
Yeah.
then they went stateside, and then they traveled up the West Coast into British Columbia and stayed there for a couple months. So yeah, there's some really
Oh,
cute
that's fabulous.
travel pictures. And when she was in New Zealand, she wrote a blog for the first time, and it was really entertaining. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's so nice. I'm glad she's doing that because especially now too during COVID, it's so nice to see those things because it kind of takes you away for a little bit and to hear
Yeah.
someone else's experience. I love travel blogs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
much
really
fun.
great.
And you get a sense of where you might want to go next, right?
Yeah,
And
for
I had a
sure.
lot of travel in 2019, so this is okay for me to just sit back and look at the everything that
Yeah.
I've done, which is great, and just kind of take a breather and
Yeah.
see what's next.
You know what would be lovely? A river cruise along the Danube, it- wine
Yes.
tasting and yeah, that would be a good one too.
All right,
Yeah.
Monica, we're going on a trip.
Yeah, we're going
We've
on a
decided
trip.
now. I'm glad we had this conversation. And goodbye, everybody.
I'll book us. Yep. Get our backpacks on.
Yeah. It's never too late, my friends.
It is
If we're
never
going to learn
too late.
anything, that's what it is.
That's right. Exactly. I have to share with you. So, this week I was thinking about, I want to do something different. I want to, like, the gym isn't open and I'm doing my walks in the morning, but you know how it is. You're in the neighborhood, you're just doing the same thing, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
nice. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But so I sort of like put it out to the universe. I got to do something. And then a friend from high school sends me a video of a girl roller skating, and she's really good. And she's based out of California, and it's like this beautiful roller
Is it
dance
from this
thing.
year or from
From this
1984?
year.
Okay.
From this year, I'll send you the
Okay.
link. But she's our kind of girl because she's young, but she's into our music.
Okay.
And that's what she skates to. And I'm like, oh my God, that should have been me. Like, did I miss my calling? So I show it to my husband. He says, check this out. And he finds an Instagram page for a roller dance academy based out of Victoria, BC. And they teach roller skating online. So Kim, my studio space, I have a big warehouse in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching myself to roller skate back there now.
That's amazing. Did you not roller skate as a kid?
I did. Like when I was 12, 13, I don't think I ever missed one of the skate nights. How about you? Were you a roller skater?
Yes, every week when I was 12 or 13. Same kind of thing every week. And in Hamilton, down I think around Pier 8, they have a roller skating night in the summertime, and they play music, and you can, just like the old days.
Wow. So, have you been? Have you ever done it?
I have not. My daughter went.
Well,
I have not done it, but it sounds like a ton of fun.
Oh my God, we should do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drag you out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have I mentioned I'm clumsy? But that's okay.
That's okay.
I'll wear some knee pads. Will be fun.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, speaking of the walking, I just finished the Billion Steps Challenge, which was for the Breast Cancer Society of Canada, because I'm a spokesperson for them as well. And because they couldn't have a walk, they always have a Mother's Day walk every year. Yeah. They did a virtual walk, and they said, okay, every day in May, go for a walk. But the beginning of May was like winter. So they extended it for the first 2 weeks of June as well. And that was so good for me because I managed to get out every day and walk after being on the couch for most of COVID. I'd stay on the couch, watch the news, and then go to work. So this was great, and it just finished. I'm happy. I didn't do what I thought I was going to do, 15,000 steps a day. I don't know what I was thinking, but I managed.
So you could do it faster on roller skates. You should have roller skated it. You could have covered more territory, more steps. But congratulations, because I saw you raised $1,000.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I was happy about that.
That's so great. And Bright Run, they're going to do a virtual this year as well. I'm really excited about that. So I've been talking to our friend Nancy. Actually, she's watching right now.
Hi,
and
Nancy.
your friend Tom is on. So
good.
Tom, you have to go back to the beginning and hear about the wind. And I just want to see if we have any other question. Oh, yes. And Sarah Turrell says that you're very brave to share your story. And she's sure that many are grateful to know they aren't alone. So, and Colleen Ianson, she's actually at the Bright Run every year. She'd like me to share the link because her roller skates are waiting. So maybe she'll meet us down at the
We've made so many plans with this conversation, Monica.
I know, we have. It's going to be quite the year, 2021.
Yeah, we're going to roller skate on the Danube. That's what I've learned. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and then we'll spend our evenings in the infinity pool overlooking the Danube. Yeah.
See, it's nice to dream during COVID, don't you think?
I love it.
All, get on a sanitized plane and go wherever we want.
Exactly. Yeah, we sure can. Kim, I'm so grateful that you gave us so much time today, and you're just such a ray of sunshine. And I want to invite you, so after I do these interviews, I just invite you for a little 10-minute Instagram party.
All right.
On Instagram Live. So if you're into that, we will do that next.
Okay.
But I thank you so much.
I don't know how to do that. I just hop on Instagram and
so all you do is you're going to see me, you'll see Glam Jules is going live. I'll text you when I go live. And then there's a little button that says request to join. And then you just press that and then I bring you on.
And then I'm in.
See? Okay. You're going to learn something new today. Woo!
It's been very helpful for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No problem. And will we see you tonight on the news?
I will
Are
be
you
there.
on the? You'll be
I
there.
am.
Okay, good.
I'm back on tonight, 7 p.m.
You're
Eastern.
back on to. Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Kim.
You're very
I will
welcome.
text you soon. Thanks for everything.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Kim MacDonald is, like I said, an absolute ray of sunshine. She's wonderful. She's so candid about her experience with breast cancer, and she's a person with a big, big heart. So I hope that you enjoyed the interview. I hope you will follow Kim, and I'm going to see if I can find that and please share the video with all of your friends. And thank you so much for tuning in to Get to Know Her with Glam Jewels. Have a wonderful, spectacular, sunny afternoon. Bye.